Hi. As a part of Wi-Fi 8, multi-AP coordination is one of the new techniques being brought into the standards. And in this coordinated multi-AP techniques, coordinated beamforming, called as CoBF, is one of the techniques being proposed in the standards. My name is Shrikant. I'm with NanoCell Networks. We'll take a short peek into what this CoBF is all about. So in general, multi-AP coordination involves two or more APs trying to do something with coordination amongst them for the mutual benefit of the overall system, which involves clients connected to all these APs. Specifically, coordinated beamforming is trying to do something like this, where two APs with their stations, station 1 connected to AP1, station 2 connected to AP2, trying to harmoniously do their business by asking, say, AP1 while it's transmitting to station 1 to send a null in the direction of station 2, and AP2 while it's sending to station 2 is to put a null in the direction of station 1. So that's why this beam forming comes into play, because nulls can be created by suitably feeding the right weights and multiplying that with the transmissions. So these nulls are what are extra special as compared to earlier beamforming techniques. And of course, single user beamforming and then multi-user beamforming have been around in the standards for quite some time. So if we look at the various things which might have to be done as a part of this coordinated beamforming, one could look at a series of steps. And remember, any beamforming involves some deep measurements. So very deep CSI feedback is one of the ways by which we can achieve the peaks and nulls through the multiple antenna transmissions. So for which we need very detailed measurements. And then we'll have to decide which stations on the multiple APs are suitable for simultaneously being handled so that the nulls and the peaks can be formed from the respective APs. And then there can be a phase when the coordinated transmission can happen, and then we can go back to the measurement phase if needed once certain timer expires. So how do we see some of the complexities involved in that? This is obviously a very challenging technique, but just to even get a glimpse of the complexity or the steps involved, one can just look at what is called as the sounding process. Sounding is a way by which in 802.11 systems, we can get some detailed feedback from the receiver. So in this case, AP1 and AP2 are the coordinating APs, *1 connected to AP1, *2 connected to AP2. And the popular way of getting feedback is through this null data packet, which is basically going to sound the channel. And unlike earlier times, now what you have is station 1 connected to AP1 is also basically sending feedback to AP2. So this is the extra support that we need to bring on the station side. The coordination amongst the APs, even on the sounding, has to start. And once this sounding is over, then station 2's sounding, where station 2 not only reports to its AP but also to another AP which might be the one which is coordinating with its current AP. So you can see that this is pretty involved, and this will take a lot of what you call effort to get all this working and going. And of course, even in this sounding process, there are options. This is sequential. There are also options where NDP can be coordinated and sent by both APs. so that the feedback can come in one shot from either of the stations. This is just an option right now. So even in getting the feedback, we do have quite a bit of complexity. And after getting the feedback, we now use the feedback to do all the peaks and nulls accordingly so that we can have this coordinated beamforming transmission. Is this a simple technique? Will it work just like that? I think everybody seeing the history of how beamforming has happened knows that this is going to be a challenging one on the field. So it will take some work to get this right. Maybe there will be selective circumstances under which this will be activated. But at least we know that this is now coming to the standards as one of the techniques in the multi-AP coordination business. Thank you for listening. You can take a look at our website for more videos. So I'll see you with more Wi-Fi 8 videos soon. Thank you.